Good afternoon and welcome to Midday Live. I am Wendy Laya. Headline stories for this afternoon. Private legal practitioner Martin Pebu demands thorough investigations into Director General of Ghana Maritime Authority over alleged misconduct. Adentan residents demand completion of abandoned footbridges along the Medina-Adentan Highway to save lives. And on the international front, U.S. to end trade benefits with Mauritania over forced labor. I've got the details of these stories. We have sports as well as entertainment coming up shortly. Do stay. Let's start with one of our headline stories this afternoon. And the Member of Parliament for South Dai, Roxanne Nelson Dafiamapo, is calling for the dismissal of the Director General of the Ghana Maritime Authority over allegations of conflict of interest and misappropriation of funds. Meanwhile, private legal practitioner Martin Pebu is asking for a thorough investigations into the Director General of the Ghana Maritime Authority's alleged misconduct. They both spoke on New Day.
MP for South Day, Roxanne Nelson Dafiamapo, condemned the conduct of the Director General of the Ghana Maritime Authority, adding he must be compelled to step aside.
The maritime industry is very huge and Ghana is doing well. Oil exploration and all that. Ships are coming here a lot. But my call is that he should step aside for the investigations to proceed.
Deputy Director of Communications of the New Patriotic Party, Kamaldeen Abdul, said the board of the Maritime Authority should be allowed to probe the allegations and prefer their recommendations.
We have campaigned on the fact that good governance is something that we're going to espouse and we're seeking to push forward. Now, if at the end of the day, there are aspects of certain happenings in government that points not to the good governance that we spoke about, I think it's a worry. So clearly, I want to say that, look, let them investigate, let it come out, let's see what happens, then we can move on.
Private legal practitioner Martin Pebu, however, wants a thorough investigations by an independent body.
It would have been better that we do a third party that's not connected with the authority. That would have been far better so that there will be that independence. Because you see, for a board that he sits with all the time and all that, you know, even there will be a perception of bias even before they start the job. So that one, perhaps we should look at it. There are so many agencies that can be asked to do this investigation.
For instance.
Exactly, so many. So that then when we get the components, well, we can comment with full authority.
President of Accra Institute of Technology, Professor Clement Didonu, said the Director General of the Ghana Maritime Authority, Kwame Owusu's comments at the news conference were reckless and irresponsible.
How many small primary schools could be built without 1 million Ghana cedis? How many small clinics or health centers could be built without 1 million Ghana cedis? Here alone, 1 million Ghana cedis were used to renovate a house, and he wants 13 air conditions and never mind electricity. Who's going to pay for electricity? Is he the one going to pay for it? For me, all in all, his press conference is an argument in reverse. It doesn't make it any good, and he's arguing against the flow of reason.
To one of our headline stories as well, and a young lady on Friday night was knocked down while crossing the Medina-Adentan Highway at the SDA junction. The youth, in response to this, blocked the road and bent car tires to display their anger over the constant loss of lives due to the non-completion of footbridges dotted along the stretch of the road. The police later moved in to clear the road for traffic flow. Sad story, but we're still focusing on issues in relation to the highway. And on October 29 this year, we brought you a story in which youth group calling itself Fix Our Footbridges now gave the Ghana Highway Authority and the sector ministry up to November 12 to complete the footbridges on the Madina Adentan Ebri Highway or Risk A protest. Now, the 7 pedestrian footbridges were part of the Tetekwashi Mamfe Highway project, which was open to traffic in 2013.
An estimated 200 lives have been lost on the stretch through motor accidents. The Ghana Highway Authority promised to get the footbridges completed by the end of October. Executive member of Fix Our Bridges Now, Richmond Kwesi Aguia, expressed the frustration of residents in communities along the highway.
If we scream, then our shout is not enough to be heard. I mean, then we are joking. So we're just pleading on the higher authorities to come to our aid. Nobody wants to be in the sun demonstration or anything. But I think that they should know that we would actually escalate our grievances if nothing is done. It's not a threat. It's a simple message.
Assemblyman for Adenta West, Rashid Osebonsu, expressed disappointment over lack of feedback from people responsible for the completion of the footbridges.
We have been able to get to every important individual who has relation to work on that bridge. Nothing has been, nobody has communicated to this. Government has the capability. Maybe we have not been loud enough. So I'm entreating all residents of Madina, Adenta, Pantai, Oyaefa, everybody who uses the highway, that is the Madina Highway, to join us on the 12th of November whilst we move. This is an action for all. November now or never.
MC of Lankwantanai Medina Municipality, Jennifer Dede Ajabin, assured them of the completion of the footbridges.
October is not over technically for me because now I can start agitating after October. What if I start today and tomorrow I see some works? So I am also waiting patiently. But I believe that with the assurances that we've been given, even if nothing has started, we will go back and get information on why the footbridges or no work has been seen as commencing yet.
Footbridges must be seen as a road safety issue rather than just courage for pedestrians.
And now let's move on to other stories, but still in relation to road accidents. And news just in is that reports reaching us indicate Deputy Communications Minister George Anda has been involved in a near-fatal accident. We understand he has since been flown to Accra to the 37 Military Hospital for further medical attention. The accident happened at the Ofankor Bujumburam Road. His vehicle crashed with an articulator truck. We gather. And reports reaching us indicates Deputy Communications Minister George Anda has been involved in a near-fatal accident. We gather that he has since been flown to Accra, that's a 37 Military Hospital for further medical attention. The accident happened at the Ofankor Bujumburam Road and his vehicle crashed with an articulator truck. Now, I have been joined via phone by Emmanuel Oscar. He is an aide to the Deputy Communications Minister. Hello, Emmanuel.
Yes.
Now, what have you been able to gather in relation to this accident?
First of all, warm greetings to your listeners and yourself. Before I start to speak, I would like to call on Ghanaians to show goodwill, especially the media, by being careful in how they report the events that have just taken place, because even we on the team are now trying to confirm specific information. Let's be careful on what we put out about the condition of the personality involved until we all get concrete information from the team. And I'm sure by the end of the day, we'll be able to put out something official.
Well, that's why we're speaking to you. Is that to say that you are in no way able to tell us what exactly happened? I
have just spoken to a member of the team who was on the ground with him. As we know, Nenyi Jodanda is very committed to the constituency, and he does frequent trips to the constituency. From what I'm gathering, he had an accident this morning in the constituency while performing his duties as MP and devoting his time to his people. He is currently getting treatment and responding to treatment. I spoke to the bodyguard who was involved, and things are. We are going to give you updates as we go on. I'm heading to the hospital currently by myself, so I can be able to give first-hand information and make sure that the information in public wouldn't be distorted.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time and the updates. I have been speaking to Emmanuel Oscar, who is an aide to the Deputy Communications Minister, who has been involved in an accident. We'll bring you some more updates in subsequent bulletins on TV3, so we'll keep you posted. But let's still focus on our roads. And the Roads and Highway Minister, Kwesi Amwako-Atta, on Friday told Parliament the George Walker Bush Highway here in Accra will soon be given a facelift to enhance safety on the road. This follows plans to fix 3 additional footbridges to augment the existing ones. Now, the announcement comes on the back of TV3's documentary, Dangerous Highways, which highlighted the dangers posed to motorists on that stretch.
The George Walker Bush Highway, also known as N1 Highway, has been a major source of worry to residents who live along the highway and commuters who ply the road alike. The Medina-Adenta Highway, just like the N1, has over the years claimed lives due to the non-availability of pedestrian footbridges. Several campaigns by TV3 as well as the affected communities to push government to act yielded little results. Answering a question on road safety on the floor of Parliament on Friday, the sector minister said an assessment of the N1 highway has been done and that 3 footbridges will soon be fixed.
We have done proper engineering assessment on that road. That is post-completion engineering assessment. And we have realized that we need 3 more footbridges at very critical intersections. And I mentioned those intersections: La Paz Junction, Akoteman Junction, and Awoshi Junction, because we want to improve safety.
He added street lights will be fixed to help improve safety and visibility on the road.
And we want to improve visibility. That is why all these will go even with lighting. And once we fix this, I can assure you that the entire stretch would have been fully covered.
He observed the most challenging task is to educate users to patronize the footbridges.
Let's go to the Adentan Medina Highway story again. But this afternoon, we're having an interview with Rashid Osaibon, so that's the assemblyman for Adentan West. Thanks for agreeing to speak with us, sir.
Yeah, hello?
Thanks for agreeing to speak with us, sir.
Yeah, I'm ready to speak to you.
Now, we know that there are 3 assembly sharing borders on that very stretch, which is Adentan, Lankwantanan, and then also Ga East. How have you engaged these other assemblies to ensure that the concerns of residents there are met in relation to the footbridges?
The 2 main municipal assemblies that really have a relationship with that particular incident is the Lankwatara Municipal Assembly and the hello?
I'm listening, sir.
The Adenta Municipal Assembly. Now, the issue is that we have raised the issue of the pedestrian bridge, the traffic lights, the road markings, and the street lights at the various General Assembly meetings. Now, by the act of the local government, the Assembly itself does not have the capacity to deal with the pedestrian bridge, as in the contract value. But the pedestrian bridge is an asset of the Ghana Highway Authority.
Do I still have Rashid Osaibonsu on the line? Well, I think we're having some difficulties there. We've lost him, but we'll try and reach him again and speak to him as and when we get him. But let's move on to the other stories. And governance through the Civil Service Council has recruited 500 new staff to fill the vacant positions in the civil service. Head of Civil Service, Nana Ejekum Jamena, cautioned them to desist from act of corruption.
The Civil Service Council agreed to recruit new staff after realizing that most employees have retired. Others are also on the brink of retirement, which have created vacant positions in the service. After securing financial clearance from the Finance Ministry, the Civil Service has recruited 500 new staff to fill vacant positions. During the interview process, issues about conditions of service and performance management were top on the agenda. Respecting and upholding code of ethics, as well as improving productivity in the civil and public service, took center stage. Already, some governance experts have strongly criticized the civil service for laziness and poor attitude to work. But the head of Civil Service, Nana Ejekum Jamena, warned the newly recruits to desist from such practices.
We can even begin with becoming time conscious. If we can begin with, when they give us work, we'll not sit on it. And the tradition is, for some people, is that they will be asking for weight to be put on the paper, other the paper will disappear. I don't want you to go into the civil service and start facilitating the disappearance of papers. The papers must move from your table to where it is expected to be.
He also cautioned them against acts of corruption, which undermines the integrity of the civil service.
We want to build a new civil service. We want to change the narrative. Some of us are tired by people saying civil service is corrupt, we don't perform, we are lazy, we are this, we are that, we are that. Government is determined that we build a new public service.
The 500 new recruits are also expected to scrutinize government policies and profile alternatives to them. Meanwhile, the Office of the Head of Civil Service is seeking to secure financial clearance to recruit another batch of staff.
To some more stories, and a group of people calling themselves the Concerned Youth of the Upper West region earlier today organized a demonstration against what they call the realignment processes ongoing at the University of Development Studies. The group, comprising persons from the various political groupings in the region, believe the exercise of realignment seeks to cripple the WA campus. They claim the transfer of some courses of study, 3 to be precise, will kill activities at the WA campus, and they alleged that 3 courses already had suffered the same fate. According to the demonstrators, businesses in the Upper West region are collapsing as a result of the number of students' population which is beginning to dwindle. They want an autonomous campus for the University of Development Studies in WA, Tamale and Navrongo. This is still Midday Live. Do stay with us. Thanks for staying. You're still watching Midday Live, and the National Labour Commission has called on members of the Coalition of Concerned Teachers to call off its strike or risk their salaries withheld. The coalition, which declared a strike from November 1, wants issues on salary, arrears and refund of deductions for the SIC GES life insurance policy, which they claim was imposed on members. The National Labour Commission expressed surprise at the strike by aggrieved members of the Coalition of Concerned Teachers. According to the Commission, it received a petition from the coalition on their grievances and had requested the Finance, Education and Labour Ministers to explain how the issues would be addressed, only to hear of their strike. Executive Secretary of the National Labour Commission directed the coalition to call off its strike or risk their salaries being withheld. The Commission has also expressed concern about the strike by lecturers in the colleges of education who are demanding payment of market premium and other benefits after the colleges were converted into tertiary institutions. Joining me in the studio this afternoon is Norbert Bobochi. He is the Deputy Communications Director for the Coalition of Concerned Teachers. Good afternoon, Norbert, and thanks for your time this afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Now, the National Labour Commission is asking you to call off your strike or you risk your salaries being withheld.
What do you
make of this?
What is surprising about our action? Is it that Labour Commission is not on top of issues or what?
When was the last time you had a communication with the National Labour Commission?
That would be somewhere 2016, 2017. And that has been the end.
So how did you inform them about your strike?
It's through a letter. It's through a letter. You know, the law mandates you to, how do we call it, send a letter to the Labour Commission informing them of what you want to do. And same is to employers.
And who sends that letter? Who received
that is by
the letter?
Dispatch.
Who received the letter on behalf of
Dispatch
the Commission?
Has it to us that it has been delivered.
To who?
To the office of the Labour Commission.
So,
you know,
you can't tell
they
who
have an office. Yes, they have an office, and they cannot tell us they don't have it because we have traces. That if you want to trace whether they receive it or not, the dispatch will confirm it. So the letter got to them. They cannot say that. But that has been, I'm not surprised about what they've said because that has been their slogan. Just like the Presby hymns. Whenever someone notifies of going on strike, they will come and say A, B, C, and your strike is illegal and that and that. What article was quoted from the Labour Act that is declaring our strike illegal? If they don't know, I am telling them that negotiations has ended, and what we are waiting for is the payment of the money. Negotiations ended when we completed validation. So what are we negotiating for? And when they come out to say certain things, it rather push the teachers out of the classroom. I am to inform you that NAT has also issued a statement.
Now, from what I read, according to the Commission, it has received a petition from your coalition on the grievances and has requested the Finance, Education and Labour Ministries to explain how the issues would be addressed.
They should
patience something you need here at this time?
No. How can we wait from 2012? What have they done on the issue since 2012? They should go into their archives and give ruling. They've given ruling on this particular matter. That government should pay us. Because they think their powers are limited, that they cannot force governments against their will, they come back to tell the public ABC. What I want to tell you is that the matter or the issue now is beyond Ghana Education Service, is beyond the Labour Commission, is beyond all the institutions. It is with the Ministry of Finance to release payment.
And have you had any direct contact with the ministry on this issue?
Yes, we've had a direct contact through the Deputy Minister of Labour, the Deputy Minister of Finance, that is Abna Osei.
And what was the response?
The response...
When exactly was this?
That was somewhere in June. Somewhere in June that we had that meeting.
In June?
And, yes, and the agreement was that the monies will be released latest by October ending. And they said that it will be released in bits. So in July, August, September, some people will be paid. So that the last person will be paid in October. And they gave us their word that if it didn't happen, then we can take the action we are taking now. That is why we are here now. So Labour Commission has no locus.
But even though there was an agreement, have they gotten in touch with you? Or are you getting in touch with them about the strike? I'm sure they are aware by now.
Yes, we've gotten in touch with them through notification, as I told you. So we were waiting for them to maybe write and tell us ABC, what they've done so far, per the payment of, and nothing like that has happened. We've received quite some few phone calls, and we think that that is not official enough for us to say that we are calling off our strike. What we need now is not negotiations, because that has been completed.
So what's the next line of action? If I can
the next line of action is still to stay at home until the monies are paid. And we are calling on all, because NAGRAT is issuing a statement tomorrow. NAT has already issued a statement. And I am telling you that by tomorrow, if a teacher remains in the classroom, it means that teacher is shooting him or herself in her own foot.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Norbert Bobochi. He is the Deputy Communications Director for the Coalition of Concerned Teachers. You're still watching Midday Live. I'm bringing you some more updates on that very story. And the Minister of Health, Kwaku Agyeman has reiterated the need to roll out some international languages at the various health training schools here in Ghana. This, he says, will position medical practitioners to take advantage of the international opportunities. Here's a report by Zubaida Ismail.
The Minister of Health was addressing heads of health training institutions and health practitioners at the 12th Annual General Meeting of the Conference of Heads of Health Training Institutions, COHETI, in Tamale, in the northern region. He emphasized the importance of learning a foreign language to complement English. Kwaku Agyeman also called for the intensification of information communications technology in both public and private health training schools.
Emerging diseases are accompanied by new challenges, and our students should be trained to rise to meet these challenges. New healthcare technologies are also emerging, for example, telemedicine and telenursing, which are creating opportunities for nurses and midwives. Patients are more enlightened and sophisticated as they have more access to health information.
Speaking on the theme Contemporary Healthcare Delivery, the role of health training institutions, President of the Conference of Heads of Health Training Institutions, Monica Nkrumah, said Ghana needs a holistic approach to meet the Millennium Challenge goals. The MDG Goal 3 seeks to ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all by 2030.
Strengthening primary healthcare facilities, making them more accessible, affordable, acceptable, and the role that innovation can play in creating and delivering more sustainable systems.
She called on government to improve structure, technological and manpower challenges faced by all health facilities to enhance the provision of adequate and quality health care. The Conference of Heads of Health Institutions was inaugurated in November 2006 as a platform for stakeholders to meet each year to discuss activities and celebrate achievements, identify shortfalls, and to streamline and enhance health education in Ghana.
You're still watching Midday Live. We'll go back to our earlier story where I did mention that reports reaching us did indicate that the Deputy Minister of Communications, George Anda, had been involved in an accident. We spoke to his aide early on, that's Emmanuel Oscar, who told us that he was on his way to the hospital. We're having him back via phone. Well, I've just been told that we've missed him via phone now, but we'll try and reconnect with him, and when we get him, we'll speak to him on the latest updates. As we're told, he has arrived at a 37 military hospital. Hello, Emmanuel.
Hello, Wendy. Hello
now,
again.
can you confirm if you are at the hospital now?
Yes, I'm at the hospital now. I'm at the GKD department of the 37 military hospital.
And what have you been able to gather?
The bodyguard involved is in stable condition. The driver is in stable condition. The constituency exec who was driving with him is in stable condition. Honorable is in stable condition. He's been stabilized. I just saw them transfer him to another part of the hospital where they are probably going to make checks and ascertain that everything is truly okay. He is surrounded by family. We are in high hopes, and we are happy to say that the condition is stabilized.
And can you confirm if indeed his vehicle crashed with an articulator truck on the Ofankor Bujumburam Road?
I would need to hold on what exact part of the road, because I want to make sure that everything goes out as credible information, because we know who is involved in this situation. So I want to hold on until I can confidently confirm, but I can confirm that it was a collision with an articulator truck on our usual weekend interactions with the constituency. It happened around 8 a.m.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. Emmanuel Oscar is an aide of the communications, as a deputy communications minister, and he has confirmed that he was involved in an accident, but actually is in a stable condition. I will bring you some more information as and when we get it. Next, we have business.
Business News segment is brought to you by MTN. Everywhere you go. Universal Merchant Bank, Serene Insurance, Feco Spray Starch.
Minister of Aviation Joseph Kofi Adda has hinted the possibility of government allowing the construction of private airports referred to as jet ports. He noted studies are underway to identify locations that can be used as private airstrips and airports.
The addition of private airports and strips to the public ones will help in the accelerated development and expansion of the country's aviation infrastructure. Minister of Aviation has indicated government's plan to woo the private sector into the building and operation of airstrips and airports.
The vision is simply to ensure that the whole nation has got access to all kinds of aerodromes where we can send an aircraft anytime we need it, whether for commercial reasons, in terms of passengers traveling there, or even lifting agricultural produce and send that abroad. So all these are things that we are assessing. We'll package the final aspect of the policy in terms of what should qualify for a particular spot to be maybe private airport or state airport and that sort of thing. It won't be long, we're making the announcement and you'll all be privy to it.
With the increased business in both domestic and international travel, emergency landing sites are of vital importance. In the event of a mechanical problem or bad weather, the existence of backcountry airstrips or private airports provide the opportunity to make emergency landing. Executive Chairman of SACFORCE Holding, Dr. Abu Sakara, said the idea of building smaller airfields and private airports is long overdue.
People who are into, field research and are working, they can have a plane there, take them to a district and come back. This is very common in East Africa, actually, where for most of the districts, if they go to the small aircraft airfield, you can have, a small plane charter it to take you there and come back, and it's quite reasonable. This is what is missing.
MP for Tamale North Alhaji Al-Hassan Saibu Suyuni noted over the years various governments have taken steps to expand aviation infrastructure to make both domestic and international air travel easy.
It was as a result of deliberate work at expanding the Tamale airport, and that is why today you have that kind of business. You can talk about the Kumasi airport and the works that were done there, and the attempt by the current government to also improve upon what was left behind.
The availability of private and state airports and strips in the rural, peri-urban and urban areas is key for emergency responses and very critical in healthcare delivery.
Away from that, maize sellers at Techiman in the Bonahafo region fear their stock of maize will continue to go waste due to the absence of drying machines and lack of storage facilities. Now, these operators are appealing to authorities to provide machinery and storage facilities.
Techiman in the Brongahafo region is one of the main producers of maize in Ghana. Maize produced here is sold to traders from Accra, Bogatanga and neighboring countries like Burkina Faso, Togo, Benin and Cote d'Ivoire. But the condition under which maize is dried and stored is a source of worry to traders. Several maize sellers at the Techiman market dry their maize on tarpaulin on the ground despite threats of rainfall at the time TV3 visited. The maize dealers say they employ people to sort out the maize from impurities as extra cost before it is bagged for sale. A bag of maize at the Techiman market sells between 130 to 150 Ghana cedis based on the quality. Around the same period last year, it was selling at 160 Ghana cedis. The maize had turned brownish due to bad weather and the manual process of drying. The Fafrahin of Techiman, Karim Musa, who also sells maize, says their livelihoods have been impacted by the challenge. The Techiman Maize Association Secretary Obi Yabwa was unhappy about the current drying process.
Sometimes when the customers come from Kumasi, Accra, and they see that the maize is not dry well, they reduce the prices.
In the early 1980s, government constructed dryers and silos in Techiman and in Kranza of the Brongahafo region. They could dry hundreds of tons of maize a day, but the machines have broken down. The municipal chief executive of Techiman, John Donyine, said the silos are out of fashion. According to him, the assembly will soon provide modern dryers and silo equipment to solve the challenge.
Nationwide, all have been abandoned. Right now, they are not in the good shape. So that's why current government is embarking on the massive construction of modern warehouses that will take over from the work of that the silo used to be doing.
That's all for business. We have sports next. Do stay. And this afternoon, the marketing director of GTP, Stephen Bedu, has lauded TV3 for the successful organization of Ghana's most beautiful pageant over the years. He made these remarks at the launch of the company's new fabric to the Ghanaian markets, GTP Adepa Dumas.
The 7 remaining ladies in the GMB house graced the launch of GTP's 2 new exciting products. GTP outdoor the GTP Adepa Dumas, a premium quality fabric targeted at women who know their worth and express their style with grace and confidence. With the aid of VG Jala app, a new value-added fashion app, customers can select the most appropriate fabric for any occasion. The reigning GMB queen, Zainab, who joined other dignitaries to launch the fabric, thanked GTP for clothing her for the past 1 year.
Winning Ghana's Most Beautiful 2017, they've been sponsoring me for every occasion, so it has been so amazing and blessed working with them.
The GMB ladies were elated to be present at the launch.
Well, I think they are doing so well. Their designs are so amazing.
I'm very excited. Seeing we young ones, the youth having this is just great. And the time perhaps to GTP for bringing this amazing cloth.
The marketing director of GTP, Stephen Bedu, expressed satisfaction with GTP's association with the GMB brand, adding the company looks forward to a more fruitful partnership in the coming years.
And we're excited to be part of Ghana's Most Beautiful. Indeed, this product, GTP Adepa Dumas, is meant or is targeted at people like these young ladies, people of class, people who want to show who they are. Well, I want to commend TV3, as I always do, for this platform, which is Ghana's Most Beautiful. And I want to urge you to, keep up doing the good job you are doing. I want to congratulate all the ladies, and I wish the best lady success.
The winner of this year's GMB will have the honors of being clothed by GTP for a year.
And the search for the next superstar DJ has begun, and 10 DJs have been selected out of 25 talents that showed up for 3FM's Jam in 10 Season 3 audition.
Introduced in February 2016, 3FM's Jam in 10 competition sought to discover the finest unsigned DJ in the capital. Freelance disc jockey DJ Wabs won the maiden edition of the DJing contest. The competition has officially opened with an audition to shortlist contestants who will engage in a weekly contest. Out for basic mixing techniques, style of play, attitude, and the DJ's ability to interact with audience whilst mixing and scratching. DJ Tobli, DJ Blackboy, DJ Galdem, among others, showed great dexterity on the turntable. After a hard-fought contest, 10 contestants were shortlisted.
We wish all the contestants well in their next stage. And that'll be all for this afternoon. I am Wendy Lai. Remember, we have News 360 at 7. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of our programs. Do have a lovely afternoon.